Good morning. It is Monday today. Claudia's just left. I'm on my own for the next 4 days. Time for me to get to work though. Commute's not very far today. The lady who owns this apartment left some pasta and pesto for me when I arrived, in case I couldn't go shopping or whatever before I had dinner that day. Of course, we just went out for a meal instead, so I'm going to eat it for lunch. So we've got a tiny little kitchen here. Here's the, oops, didn't realise they were open. Here it is. I've never actually done anything with a jar of pesto. Impromptu cooking with Jake. This is a tiny little kitchen. There's just really no space for stuff. I'll use the windowsill as storage. I don't really know what to do with the pesto, but let's deal with the pasta first. The water's slowly getting hot, so let's just put the pasta in. Come on, spaghetti. This pan is small, I can't get the spaghetti into it. Come on. I'm gonna have half of each spaghetti. What's the singular of spaghetti? Spaghetti. Half of each one will be undercooked. There we go. Ah, no, my hands are full of plates. It's okay. God, there's no way to put anything. This is on number 2 now. This is just really powerful. Ah, no, it went back to 8. Don't. I guess I'll leave it on number 1. Oh no, 1 doesn't really boil at all. From what I can tell, pesto is okay just to eat from the jar. I have nothing else to go with it. I'm just gonna put this on the pasta on its own. I think that'll work. Bit of a weird thing just to spoon out the jar into your mouth, but maybe on pasta it'll be alright. Oh, that wasn't as much pasta as I hoped. I have no idea what I'm doing. Is this a valid meal? Who knows? I have overdone my pasta as well, it's all stuck together. This is edible. I'll do better next time. There's obviously loads of pasta and pesto left. This Airbnb is ideal for working from. I can just be so focused. It's silent, it's bright. I'm finding it weird though already to combine a holiday with working. It doesn't feel right to be sat at my laptop doing work things. Slightly odd, never done this before. Feel like I should be out doing things that I can't do at home in London. But it's a very relaxing apartment to sit in and do work. Like I said last week, a lot of my job is not just typing out code, but thinking through problems and designing solutions. If I'm in the office, I often use whiteboards to do this. Here I want to make use of the just big floor and surround myself with paper and just draw out ideas. I've got a little Bluetooth speaker so I can have music on, just focus, not even have my laptop next to me, and just draw like systems design, architectural diagrams. That's going to be a big part of this week. Oh no, my piece has ended. One of the neighbours has a drum kit. It's on the other side of this wall. Maybe it's just loud music. Either way, it's kind of annoying. It's nearly 6 PM here. It's an hour later, so it's only 5 PM back in the UK. I also slept in a bit this morning, so I'm just gonna keep working. tomorrow I'll get up earlier and then finish earlier. I've been running a script which uploads a lot of data to BigQuery. We haven't like automated this and put it into production yet. It's very version 1 MVP. The Wi-Fi in this apartment is alright, but the upload speed's a bit slow, and I got faster upload over 4G. So I've just used up gigabytes of my monthly allowance over 4G, and it's failed at the very end, which is very disappointing. I'm just gonna get somebody to run it from the office tomorrow instead, where it's fast. But it's 7 PM now, I'm gonna go for dinner. Tonight, I'm gonna go to this burger place nearby. The weather is still awful, and this is the place. That was pretty good. I've come straight back home though, because it is still raining outside. There's a bottle of wine in the fridge. I don't know if it's meant to be for me. I can't really win here. Either it was like a gift from the apartment owner, and if I don't drink it, it seems a little bit rude. Or it's not for me, and if I do drink it, then I'm just drinking somebody else's wine. Gonna hope it's not an expensive bottle, because I'm gonna open it and have a glass of wine. The lighting is very nice in this apartment. It's full of these retro lamps. They've got incandescent bulbs in them. Bad for the environment, but they do look nice. And also a light in the corner, and then we can turn off the main ones, and it becomes very atmospheric. Stand up and another meeting I had to just explain credit checking and credit decisioning to a new joiner are done. The weather's much nicer today. You probably can't really tell, but there's some blue sky up there and we keep getting bits of sun. I'm having an early lunch. I'm making pasta again. I would like to go for a walk over lunchtime. I have a meeting at 2 PM, but it's only like 12:15 now, so I could maybe do this. I'd also like to go out to a museum when I'm finished with work tonight. I'll try to figure this out and see how I can fit it all in. It's 12:30, I need to be back by 2. That gives me an hour to go for a walk. You can just see straight down to the ground through the edges of this lift. Over the weekend, me and Claudio walked past East Side Gallery, but it was raining, it was freezing cold. We weren't actually trying to go there, it just happened to be on our way back to the apartment. So I'm gonna go back today and see it properly. not sure why some of them are really graffitied over and others have no graffiti at all. Alright, had a very quick walk along most of the wall. I did see the rest of it the other day, like I said. Gonna head back to the Airbnb now to get back to work. It's 1:40, I'm back with plenty of time before my 2 PM meeting. That's a good lunch break. You just have to stare at yourself while you wait for other people to join Google Hangouts. Does this person realise that I'm remote? Oh no, just got a message saying previous meeting is overrunning. Something I've been trying to do for the last few weeks is create a decisioning roadmap. And by that I mean a list of things that we need to build with some kind of rough timeline against it. Currently we do planning each week, so we only know what we're going to do that current week. And I want us to be able to look a little bit further ahead and understand where we're heading with everything. Nothing too crazy, a 6-month roadmap would be way too much. I just want to be able to look a few weeks ahead. My other motivation for this is a lot of the things we need to build and implement I've already thought about, because I've been working in and around this stuff for a year now. And I want to be able to take like a 2-week holiday and feel confident that all my ideas and all of the context and all of the knowledge that I've gained over the last year is available for somebody else to pick up and work from, and they don't have to figure everything out from scratch again. The reason I haven't got this done so far is because it's really hard to find the time to sit down, not write code, and work on this roadmap and just like think through these really big abstract problems. But this is the perfect week to do that, because distractions are not happening as much. I can choose whether I get distracted when I'm here. When I'm in the office, people come over to my desk, but when I'm remote, I can just ignore people. And not for a long time, but I just have much more control over when I read Slack and read messages and read emails, and I can do like a chunk of replying to messages, and then I can have a solid hour or whatever to work on something else, and it just puts me in control of my time. It's 6 PM here, obviously only 5 o'clock back in the UK, but that doesn't matter. I'm going to stop working for now, although there are some things I want to finish off later, but I want to go to a museum. I'm going to do that, then go for dinner, then come back and finish up with work later tonight before I go to bed. Also makes up for my slightly extended lunch break to see the East Side Gallery. The museum I want to go to is the Communications Museum. Now I know it's not the most historically significant museum I could go to in Berlin, but I quite like museums like this. It's in an unexpectedly impressive building. This is the entrance. This room has weird robot things roaming around.
Hallo, hallo. Schön, Sie begrüßen zu dürfen.
It's speaking to me, but it's in German. I don't know what it's saying. I'm scared. Okay, I think I've seen everything. That didn't take as long as I thought. Nicely designed museum in a beautiful building. Not a whole lot in it. There's a restaurant just around the corner. It looks super touristy, but I don't know where else to go. I don't want to wander around on my own looking for restaurants. I can't see anything better on Google, so I'm just gonna go here. I'm not sure if I've ever been to a restaurant on my own, like proper sit-down meal. McDonald's doesn't count. My memory's terrible, so I might be wrong, but this might be a first. Yeah, you can tell it's touristy by the giant Bavarian man outside. This is apparently Bavarian meatloaf. Also, I've been put in this weird outside bit, except it's like inside some weird shopping centre. It's less than ideal, but it's alright. I'm back at the Airbnb now. I finished the bit of work that I wanted to do quite a while ago actually. It's 11 PM now, so I'll see you in the morning. I set my alarm for 7 AM. Ended up snoozing it for over an hour until I got up. I'm really not a morning person. As much as I'd love to be, I'm just not. Anyway, I'm up and showered now, gonna have breakfast. It's Wednesday. Not much in my calendar today actually. Wednesdays are usually pretty busy. Today's an exception. Stand up as normal, and then the all hands at 5 PM. It's a really nice day today though. There's sun coming in, and no, that's not the window. You know, you can't even tell, but it is sunny. Really nailed this vlogging thing. 6 years in. Oh god. I hoped I'd be able to get out and go somewhere like I did yesterday at lunchtime, but I've just had too many things to do and couldn't get away. I'll try to go and see something interesting before or after dinner. Also, I'm trying to upload a huge file over 4G. It's just eating through my data. It's 2 gigabytes. It's been going like 40 minutes. Before anyone asks, I don't usually use Firefox. I use Chrome. I think pretty much everyone at Monzo uses Chrome. We have some browser plugins for Chrome that help with various things that we do. I'm just using Firefox because it makes it easier to set a SOX proxy, because I needed this to go through a particular IP address. The doorbell keeps ringing. Apparently it's shared with the neighbouring flat, because it used to be one flat and it's been split into 2, but it's very unnerving. The all hands is just about to start, but I wanted to get out of the Airbnb before it got completely dark. So I'm gonna take a walk to the big TV tower. You can go to the top of it, but it doesn't seem worth it really. It's like 17 euros, especially not when it's really cloudy. I imagine it's quite nice at sunset on a nice day. I read about these big pipes that are everywhere in Berlin. And apparently Berlin is built on very marshy land. The internet says that the word Berlin comes from an old word for swamp. And these pipes are used to drain the particularly wet parts of Berlin. Berlin seems really big on cycle hire schemes. Like every brand seems to have their own scheme. For example, the Lidl bike. And Lidl is a cheap supermarket. Why do they need bikes to hire? This is a different brand. Oh, there it is. I can see it in the distance. My plan is to not go to a restaurant tonight. Conclusion from going to one yesterday on my own, it was fine. It's a bit boring. If I really wanted the food of a particular restaurant, then fine. Or the atmosphere, which I didn't really get in that weird shopping centre type situation they had going on in the outside bit. But yeah, I'm not going to bother tonight. I'm going to get something from a supermarket and eat back at the apartment. I've been meaning to find some podcasts to listen to for situations like this where I'm doing a long walk, can't really do anything else. I've been listening to music all day and I'm sick of that. But I don't really know where to start with podcasts. I don't know what's good or what I'd enjoy. I've never really listened to any, so please give me recommendations. Well, here it is. I've bought a frozen pizza to eat for dinner. This flat has this little electric, I assume, oven, which hopefully I can use. Okay, let's move the bin. It's all in German, but looks like 180 degrees, which is about set to. Oh. There we go. Is this done? I can't really tell if it's done. It's been in there for ages. It is not the best pizza I've ever had, but it is pitch black outside. It's freezing cold. It's pouring down with rain. I'm glad to not be going out. I'm gonna eat this, watch some Netflix, and have a relaxing evening in. Today is my last full day in Berlin. So far for breakfast I've been eating Tresor, which is the German version of Crave. But for a change, I'm gonna go out and find a bakery and get breakfast there. This lift is from 1967. Jesus. It's another cold, wet and windy day. Alright, I've got various things. A sandwich for lunch, a croissant for now, and some vanilla-y type thing, not quite sure what it is. And a hot chocolate. I actually went in twice. I went and got the croissant, and then I went to Netto across the road. Really weird supermarket, that Netto, because they don't have baskets. People just carry all the stuff around, like piled up in their arms, or take a carrier bag to put stuff in immediately. Some people take their own trolleys, it seems. Like, I just really don't get it. Other people are walking around with like the empty cardboard boxes that things have been in on shelves, just filling that up. Because they don't have baskets. Why? Why wouldn't they have baskets? Anyway, I went there to look for something for lunch. It's not a great supermarket. They didn't really have anything that I wanted, so I went back to the bakery again and got the sandwich. I think I'll get my laptop and sit here for a change. Right, what am I doing today? Stand up, then I have a chat with Sam, other developer in my team, and our manager. We have the same manager because we have a new developer starting on Monday, a person called Lucy. We're going to have a chat today about how best to onboard her. Then I'm going to have a meeting with Elliot, other back-end engineer. He wants to talk about how we can best verify people's income. We have to make sure people can afford a loan before they take it out. Then I have another meeting with somebody who started this week, I think, to go through decisioning how we give out overdrafts. And then at 4 PM we have a decision in retro. A retro is one of the standard agile things that you do, like stand up every day, you have a retro every week or two or whatever. You just, as a team, review how the last week or two or whatever has gone. And what's gone well, what hasn't gone well, how you can make those things better. So a few things on today. This croissant's really good. Hey Elliot.
Just the working from home vlog.
Yeah, I'm in Berlin at the minute actually.
Oh, of course, I forgot about that. What's the occasion? Are you just like on working holiday or?
Yeah, I've wanted to do this for a while. Just like, usually I go somewhere like this for a weekend and just spend longer here by working during the week.
Cool.
Can I just confirm, Jeremy, can I just confirm that I was right about something I said 2 minutes ago when you were gone? In the ETL process, the batch affordability one, when we select max gross salary, does that mean we have like multiple salaries that come in the batch file for each user, and we pick the maximum one.
Yes.
Okay.
Cool Credit has this like traffic light system.
Yeah.
So
Just wanted to make sure I was talking about the same thing when I saw max there.
We select the highest one where you can see where income maximum equals low on line 56, and that just means like where they give us a green light.
Okay.
Will this be present for any staging users?
Maybe, but I can't remember which ones. You could look up the same event, the credit decision applied, where the rule set to BigQuery.
Okay.
See if you can do that. Let me know in like 10 minutes if it doesn't work out, and we can figure out how to get some staging users into that state.
That's nice. Appreciate it.
Cool. See you later. Alright, lunchtime. I'm gonna eat that egg sandwich that I bought from the bakery this morning. Turns out there's no way to eat an egg sandwich in an attractive way. Alright, time for another meeting. This is a one where I'm telling a new person about things that we do here at Monzo.
Hi, Jake.
Hey, how's it going?
Okay. I can hear you now. How are you?
I'm good. Let me put my earphones in, that might be better. There we go. It's 6:30. I am nearly done. I'd like to be done because as soon as I'm finished with today, I'm done for the week. And I've got a nice 3-day weekend because I've got tomorrow off to fly back to London. But we're in the process of rolling out loan decisions. So we've made a decision on all 1.5 million people about whether or not we should lend money to them in the form of a loan. And we're applying all of those decisions to users' accounts. And this decision is just from a credit risk perspective. There are a few more stages further down, so this is not actually giving anybody a loan that they could use today. But with 1.5 million users, the scale of this is pretty big, so there are various challenges to deal with to make sure this completes in a timely manner. It's looking like it's gonna take a few hours, so I can check back on this later. What we can do though is as soon as it's done a few, we can test, we can just have a look at them and see if it's turned out okay. It's basically a job to import a load of data from BigQuery into Cassandra. BigQuery is like the data warehouse. It's where we can run SQL queries and do data analysis. Cassandra is the database that we use in production, which is used by all of the backend services to power everything that works in like the live environment. This step of the process essentially boils down to moving data between these two places. This is all facilitated by Kafka. We put everybody onto a Kafka queue, and then one by one they're consumed by some service that writes all of the data to Cassandra. So this is the consumer lag, because we're publishing to the queue faster than the consumer can pull things off the queue. So at some point this will like peak and it'll start going down instead, and when it gets back down to 0, that's when we're done. Obviously just moving data from one database to another sounds relatively simple, but there's a lot of complexity in here, and most of the complexity, most of the things we care about is whether the data is correct, and whether it's still correct when it's moved to a different place. I'm glossing over a lot of the details here. There's far too much context to try to explain. Anyway, I'm not going to sit for hours while this finishes. I think I'm going to go for dinner instead, and I think I'm going to go back to the restaurant that me and Claudio went to on Friday last week, the first place that we went to, because it was pretty nice. I liked the place. Nice atmosphere, nice food, and it was really cheap. Oh, it's raining again. It's like being in the north. London's actually pretty warm. I'll be happy to get back. It was really empty. It was probably the shortest amount of time I've ever spent in a restaurant. Not because it was bad, just there's nothing to do once I finished eating. So I got the bill and I've left. Food was good. It was very relaxing in there. There were 4 other people. 2 of them were also eating alone, so I didn't feel stupid. Update on the weather. It's still dreadful. So I'm heading straight back to the Airbnb. Before I went, I looked for some articles that I could read while I ate, just so I wasn't bored. And I found some on being more productive. And the first one I read talked about how you should block out time for everything in your calendar. So if you want to watch Netflix, it's not unproductive to do that if that was the thing you intended to do. If that was what was in your calendar, in your plan for the day, and you did it, then you've been productive. But it also said to leave some time for just thinking and relaxing a little bit. Time to have the like shower thoughts type moments. So after I read that article, I put my phone back in my pocket and I just ate the rest of my meal without worrying about what I was doing at the same time. Unfortunately, I didn't have any brilliant thoughts. No strokes of genius during the meal. Anyway, it's pouring down, my camera's getting wet here. This is my last night, but I still have half a bottle of wine left and half a bottle of vodka. I don't want to waste it, and I guess for me it's basically the weekend now. I've just fixed a bug with a script that we have. It's 9 o'clock. I'm going to stop thinking about work now. Drink my wine. And probably switch to writing some home automation code instead. Or at least planning a home automation video.
Alright, I'm gonna switch to the vodka.
Happy weekend. This is probably a good place to wrap up. Tomorrow I'm flying back to London. That's not particularly interesting. Then it's the weekend, and then on Monday next week I'm back in work as usual. I appreciate a lot of the things I've shown you and spoken about in the last few videos have been quite vague and I haven't been able to go into a lot of detail, but I hope that this has still been an interesting insight into roughly what I do during the day, both in the office and when I'm working from home and when I'm working from Berlin. Working from other countries like this is definitely something I want to do more of. I also just want to generally film a bit more about my job and about Monzo, but probably not next week. I think it'll get a bit repetitive if I do this every week. So I'm going to end it there. Thanks for watching.